You know she's getting filled by some black stud. You know there's some black fucking bull that's just filling her with cock meat, giving her the real fuck she deserves. Some big black bull just filling her with cock meat.
All right, folks. How we doing tonight? How are we all doing? It's Friday. Not that that means anything to me right now because I'm not working. Although I'm back to work Monday. I think. Probably. They didn't call me today, so I'm thinking I'm probably back to work for Monday. Hopefully. Jeez. Fucking not working. Not working is the only thing worse than working. Like, working sucks. But not working is even fucking worse, man. It just plays hell with you. You just not mentally. You just can't fucking... God. Like, even if I won the lottery. If I won the Powerball and I didn't have to work, I think I'd still work. I think I'd still work somewhere. You just need it, man. You just need that fucking structure. You can't live. You can't live. The neat life will destroy you. Mentally, spiritually, physically, it will destroy you. Okay? I mean, look at... Even the guys that do, like, the content creating as a job, if they don't have a real professionalism and discipline about them, then it basically becomes the neat life. And you get the guys like Spoonie, you know, who just implode. You know, you get this stupid, just completely unmerited sense of self-importance you get from guys like Movie Bob or Rainey, you know. But I mean, at least Movie Bob has a work ethic. At least he puts out fucking content. At least he still makes his shit, you know. So yesterday I had an interesting fucking thing. I got called. I guess I had signed up for some raffle or some shit last year. It was for some company called Sundance Vacations or Sundance Travel or something like that. And they called me up yesterday morning and they're like, "Oh, you won this raffle. You get a free trip and not an iPad, an Amazon. It's a tablet, but it's an Amazon brand." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's pretty fucking sweet, I guess." You know, and they're like, "You know, it is free. I mean, you're gonna have to pay taxes on the trip, but it's free. Okay, you just gotta come down here and claim your prize." All right, well, I'll fucking do that, I guess. That's, you know, what the fuck else am I gonna do right now? So I head out there, and I'm not gonna say that there was a huge catch, but there was a catch. And the catch was I had to sit there and listen to their presentation about, I don't think time sharing is the right word. It's sort of similar to that, but it's like you get into this club and it's basically like you're buying vacations in bulk and shit like that, and you can either pay up front this huge sum or you can do the monthly payment thing, but you get unlimited access to these fucking, like, you get like 30 vacations in this package and then like unlimited access to little unplanned ones if there's vacancies. Like, a lot of people that would look at it and say, "Oh, it's absolute bullshit." I don't really think it is. Like, I'm listening to it, I'm like, look, there's probably a market of people for whom this is a very good deal. Like, I know some people in my life, and I would look at it and I would be like, you know, this would probably be a very good deal for them. Like, I can think of one older gentleman, I know I'm not going to name him on the air, but, you know, he was a former church mate of mine. You know, he has a very big family with, like, 4 kids, and then he's on his second wife because his first wife passed away, and then she has some kids. So, with including stepkids, he's got like 10 fucking kids. And then, you know, he's an older guy. He's like in his 60s. So then and they're evangelicals. So, you know, they breed like gremlins in a pool. So, like 40 motherfucking grandchildren. I think a handful of great grandchildren running around in his fucking family. You know, so him having unlimited access to be able to take the kids to Disneyland or Disney World, or I don't know, probably the stupid ass fucking Creation Museum or wherever the fuck he wants to go. This would probably be a great deal for him. But for me, I I have neither the need nor the funds for such a thing. So I'm sitting there the whole time like, guys, you're just kind of quietly thinking to myself, like, you just kind of wasted your breath. I'm here for my free shit. Like, I appreciate your hustle. I appreciate all that stuff. So, so basically, the catch to my free gift was I had to listen to their presentation in a room full of people and say no. And then I got my free shit. So that was nice. So, I mean, I wouldn't call it a scam. It's not a scam. If you get called by these people for some reason, if you enter a raffle and you get called by these people, it's not a scam. Because I know it sounds like a scam. You go to free shit, come down here. But there's a catch. It's a catch. It's going to chew up an afternoon. There's your catch. It's going to chew up an afternoon and you have to say no. So that was my Thursday. Because I had to run out to Harrisburg, which is about a little over an hour anyways. Though a lot of stuff around here. Yes, Chad, it is just like that South Park Aspen timeshare thing. Only, you just don't let them wear you down. Which is easy for me because I'm not in a position to fucking sign up for this shit anyways. I mean, my work's been kind of sporadic here lately. You trying to get blood from a stone here, guys. But I got a free little pad, and I got a free vacation. Well, I shouldn't say free, because there would be taxes, and I'm sure there's some minor fee. Basically, I can take a really, really cheap vacation in the next 2 years. It expires in 2022. Oh, so that was nice. That was nice. I mean, chewed up an afternoon, which wasn't nice. And I was right by a mall. I think it's called Colonial Park Mall, which is a fucking depressing ass dead mall. Like I wasn't sure how long it would take traffic and all, so I got there kind of early, and I'm like, well, I'll stop at this. There was a nice Buffalo Wild Wings on it, and I do love that. But then I'm like, I guess I'll walk around this mall a little bit. Oh man, it's never walk around a dead mall. It's so fucking depressing. There was a nice spirit of Halloween in it, though. I love those places. Oh, I love it. They're already up. They've been up for a few weeks now, I think. Oh, ready to go. Walking around the spirit of Halloween's great. Oh, man. Oh, there was this one badass. Oh, I should have gotten video of it. I might actually, because there's another one close to me that has the same thing. There's big animatronic, basically yard decorations, although I guess you could put them inside, that you get where somebody steps on the pad and then the big, skeleton or monster or whatever comes to life. Your clown or whatever the fuck it is. So this thing is it looks like some sort of Grim Spectre or Death looking motherfucker. And he's holding this this little girl, right? I guess it's a recreation of what goes on at Jeffrey Epstein's island. So he's holding this little girl, and he's like, your soul is mine. He brings her face right up to his, and the little girl doll, fog starts coming out of its mouth, and it gets sucked into the mouth of the monster. So it's he's sucking her soul out of her mouth. That is so fucking badass. That's the kind of thing, honestly, if I just had the money to waste on stupid shit like that. Because, I didn't even look at the price, but those things run in hundreds of dollars, and I bet you that one's easily $6. But I was like, oh man, that's fucking badass. Halloween's great. Fucking love Halloween. Fucking love it. Chat's talk about commie killer Kyle. What do you want me to say? It's pretty cool that he nearly blew that guy's arm off. That was pretty badass. I think he killed a couple of guys. But they're probably gonna fuck him. I heard today that the guy whose arm almost got blown off got let off with no charges. And there's a pretty good chance Kyle's gonna get fucked. So, I'm not gonna sit here and shed a tear for a dead communist and all that, but at the same time, kid probably ruined his life. So, you know, I don't know what else to tell you guys about that. But, you know, we're going to just watch some shit. So I was trying to find the name of a show tonight because it was bugging the fuck out of me. I remembered a show from the 90s. And I couldn't remember much about it, but I remember it was like, it had like a Jim Henson puppet in it. Might not have officially been Jim Henson Studios, but it looked like it. And it was a dragon. And this dragon lived with the dude, like in the modern day. This dragon just like found itself in the modern day and was just living in some guy's house. It was not like a full giant ass dragon. It was like just a little, like, I don't know, like the size of Alf or something. If you're old fuck like me, you remember Alf. So it's just this little dragon puppet, and it's this dragon that lives with a dude. This was in the early 90s. I thought that this was on TGIF because that's where you would generally find these sorts of goofy ass fucking shows. TGIF went through a phase where right after Sabrina the Teenage Witch became big, where it wanted to replicate that, so it threw up a bunch of like, I don't know, supernatural / sci-fi type sitcoms. There was something called Aliens in the Family, which I never heard of until recently. I don't remember it at all. But I do remember there was a show called You Wish, which was basically a gender-swapped I Dream of Jeannie. There was a show called Teen Angel, I think, which really kind of almost fucked up premise. Basically, this, like, it's like a high school drama. This kid in high school, his best friend dies. And, like, I don't know, like a car accident or something. He's fucking dead. And then his best friend, like, appears to him as his new guardian angel. And it's just hanging out with him, I guess, but nobody else can see him or something. There was a bunch of shows like that. Anyways, I remember this fucking dragon show. And I could not... Third Rock from the Sun was around at the same time, too. That wasn't a TGIF thing, though. But that was probably around the same time. It was a good show, though. That was on NBC, though. But I remembered this show with the fucking dragon. And I'm like, I thought for sure it was a TGIF show, but it actually turns out, apparently, I guess it was a CBS show. The show was called Scorch. Was it Scorch or Scorched? No, Scorch. Okay, so the show was called Scorch, and I actually fucking found it. Found part 1 of the pilot that we can watch tonight. We can watch the show about the dragon that lives with, I guess, it looks like he has a daughter. I don't remember a lot about it at all. I remember liking it, but I was also like fucking 8 or something when the show came out. When did it come out? When the fuck was Scorch? I want to look it up now. When the hell was this show out? Because now it's bugging me. Okay, so IMBD here. We got the whole thing. Decent ratings on IMBD. Fucking 7 out of 10. Okay, so Scorch is an American sitcom that aired in CBS in 1992. It was canceled after 3 episodes. Holy shit. The premise: Scorch, a small 1,300-year-old dragon, awakens from a 100-year nap in 1992. While flying around, he is struck by lightning and crash lands in the apartment of Brian Stevens and his daughter Jessica. The next day, as a result of the awkward circumstances, Brian lands a job as a TV weatherman by pretending that he's a ventriloquist and Scorch is his puppet. No one except Brian and Jessica knows that Scorch is a real dragon. This sounds awesome. Why didn't it make it? That premise sounds as good as I fucking remember. Let's see. So he says, I should watch What We Do in the Shadows. What the fuck is What We Do in the Shadows? Now you got me peaked. I don't know what the fuck that is. What We Do in the Shadows is both a movie and a TV show. TV series, 2019 to current. It's a coven of new vamps. Maybe look into that. But I'm thinking we should watch some Scorch. I'm thinking we should see if Scorch is as fucking good as I remember. If Scorch entertains me as much at the age of 37 as it did at the age of 8. Sorry, folks, responding to a message. Very professional, I know. Only ever watched the show, pretty funny. I might check it out. So let's see. We're gonna go into Windows Capture. Okay, so we got. This is Scorch the Pilot, Episode 1, Part 1. Let's see. Go ahead and play this. I feel like this is going to get me one of those copyright things where they tell me they're taking part of my revenue, which I'm not monetized anyway, so kiss my ass. But I don't feel like this is going to get me popped, like it's going to be blocked or get me a strike or anything. How much could they care? They made 3 fucking episodes.
When you wake up with a fire in your belly and your breath feels charred when you yawn and your cave is covered in cobwebs and suddenly 100 years are gone. When it seems as if your surroundings have all been tossed and twirled, remember things happen at the right time and you got all the time in the world. Oh yes. When you fly around in a tizzy and your wings are pumping stale air and you know something weird is happening, 'cause everything is different everywhere. When you can't find a knight or a dragon and there's nowhere to get your horn curled, remember things happen at the right.
Did he ever find a knight living in North America, though? That's the weird thing. Well, not the weird thing. But even as a kid, I think that kind of, like 500 years ago, he would have just been fighting Indians. A lot of single fathers on TV in the fucking 90s. A lot of dead moms. A lot of dead moms. Don't know why that was. A lot of fucking dead moms on TV in the 90s.
Bracken, I understand you're the building manager, but I would prefer it if you'd knock before you came in.
I did. I knocked, then I came in.
What's the problem this time?
You've been talking to yourself again.
I'm rehearsing. I've got a chance at a really good job.
Another banana slice floating in a cereal bowl.
I'm auditioning tomorrow for the part of a weatherman on the New Haven at Noon show.
I've seen that show. It's rotten. Here, I brought down a new list of building rules.
It's the 4th list this week.
My record is 7.
So what's new?
Well, Friday I'm getting a boil lanced.
I meant on the list.
Oh, the no pets regulation now extends from no warm-blooded mammals to reptiles.
What made you decide that?
Mr. Dooley's boa constrictor constricted Mrs. Feldman's parrot.
How's the parrot?
Polly want a coffin?
Oh, Mrs. Bracken, you do me a favor and you pick up Jess after school tomorrow?
Oh, sure, I'll pick her up right after ballet.
Oh, no, she doesn't have a ballet lesson tomorrow.
Not her lesson. Mine.
The weather today.
This is a very 90s TV show.
Jess, what are you doing out of bed?
I had a bad dream.
You want to tell me about it? Come here.
There were monsters chasing me. And I was running and I couldn't get away.
That sounds scary.
It was.
You know, I used to have dreams like that.
You did?
Mm-hmm. But there's nothing to worry about.
He has a very auditioned for Full House but didn't make it vibe to him.
See, monsters don't really exist.
Are you sure?
Sure, I'm sure.
Can we get a big dog anyway? Just in case.
Here, come here. See, everybody dreams about strange creatures and scary monsters, But things like that, they're only in storybooks. They're not real.
Really?
Really, I promise. Those kinds of things are just make-believe. All right, darling, time for bed.
Can't I stay up just a little while?
No, it's way past your bedtime. Come on.
What is it, Dad?
There's something outside.
What?
I don't know.
Daddy, what is it?
Is he wearing clothes? He's wearing a shirt. I just kind of noticed he's wearing a shirt.
Just it's the phone.
Are you finished?
It talks!
Well, of course I talk. All dragons talk.
I don't believe this.
Dad! He says he's a dragon!
I am a dragon.
No, you're not a dragon because there's no such thing as a dragon.
I don't know. That's pretty much a dragon. Let's see. That would explain the John Saget, the John Stamos, Bob Saget-esque vibe. She looks like a young Christina Ricci. She does, but I don't think that lines up. I think she's slightly too young for that. Because just 2 or 3 years later than this, Christina Ricci's like a teenager in Casper, so I don't know. Maybe that lines up, but I don't think that's her. If this was Christina Ricci, we probably would have heard of this show more. Monsters chasing the little girl, Jeffrey Epstein, yes. That's always kind of weird, though, where it's like, I've never gotten that where it's like, the dragons aren't real. It's like, well, what the fuck do you think that thing is right in front of your face? My favorite version of that, where I think it's done well, is like in Dusk Till Dawn, which is a fantastic movie, where George Clooney's character is like, well, I didn't believe in vampires until I saw a bunch of vampires. So now I know there's vampires.
Oh, hello, police. Gosh, I've got such an emergency here. A wild animal just broke into my house. Some sort of like large lizard dragon talking kind of thing. Hello? Hello?
Dad,
I don't think 911 just hangs up on you. I don't think they do that. Like, that's kind of why filing a false police report is a crime, because like they got to come out and investigate. Like, at the very least, they have to investigate the fact that there's a lunatic or drug addict rambling on about nonsense.
what are we gonna do with him?
I think we should feed him.
We're not talking to you, okay?
What's your problem? Wake up on the wrong side of the cave this morning?
Daddy, I think he's funny.
So do I.
Aren't you kind of small for a dragon?
I'm only 1,300 years old. I'm just a teenager. I don't even shave under my wings yet.
Whatever you are, I want you out of here.
Hey, watch it with the broom, Ivanhoe. I'm going.
Going? Going where?
Well, in search of other dragons, of course. Up to the sky, up to the sky, up to the clouds, this dragon will fly! Oh! Holy bellnets!
What's the matter?
What's the matter? I overslept for 100 years. My family's gone. I get hit by lightning and now I can't fly. I am not a happy dragon.
Jess, where you going?
You gotta let him back in.
No, we don't.
Apparently he just goes in.
Until he can fly again, I'll feed him. I'll walk him. I'll put papers under him.
Jess, we can't. Mrs. Bracken, she won't let us keep a turtle, let alone a dragon.
But I've always wanted
Does it really count as a pet when it's clearly sentient?
a dragon.
Like, or I guess sentient's not the right term, because that implies able to feel. That's more like if you're talking about machines. Oh, what the fuck's the term? Look, sapient. Like, it's intelligent. It's self-aware.
You never said that before.
I don't tell you everything.
Will you guys knock off the yapping?
How did you get in here?
Through the door. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna take a little nap.
Take a little nap.
Okay.
Wait a minute, that wasn't a suggestion.
Hey, I'm trying to sleep here.
Jeez, this guy never shuts up.
I heard that. I heard that too.
I didn't say anything.
You made a face.
You heard me make a face?
Dragons have very sensitive ears. As a matter of fact, I was the first one to hear Nero fiddle while Rome burned. And I was in France at the time. I was in France at the time.
This is ridiculous.
Dad, what are we gonna do?
Let him stay till morning.
It's really good puppetry, I gotta admit. I mean, it's not particularly funny, but that's because it's a corny 90s, like, family sitcom. But it's no worse than most of them. I don't really know why this didn't make it. Maybe it cost a lot to do. That's kind of what killed dinosaurs. Like the show Dinosaurs. Let me see. I'll look into this a little bit. I don't really want to watch the whole thing, but I kind of do want to learn about it. I got nothing else going on right now. I don't want to talk about the fucking guy that shot the communists. Like, it's fine. Like, good. I hope it works out well for him. I don't think it will. Oh, man, there's just not a lot known about this. I wonder why it only lasted 3 episodes, though. It's not really bad. I mean, there's only one user review, and it's a good one on IMDb. Let's see. Looks like one of those dinosaur family. I think it's Jim Henson. Again, I can't really find a lot of background info on it. But I would guess it's Jim Henson. View production. Who did the voice of Scorch? Somebody named Ron Lucas. Ron Lucas is known for the Ron Lucas Show, and he was apparently also in Nip Tuck. The Ron Lucas Show, almost nothing is known about it other than it was in 1990 and lasted 6 episodes. Man. I don't recognize the girl. I kind of recognize the the woman that was the building manager. Like, I've seen her in a bunch of other sitcoms of the 90s at that time. And she was probably a big actress decades prior. There's a couple other cast members for later in the show that I recognize, like the guy who was Elaine's one boss, really distinctive voice. What the fuck's his name? He was in this too. John O'Hurley. Yeah, John O'Hurley is apparently in this later. He's funny as shit. Rosemary was Mrs. Edna. Rosemary, I'm sorry. Yeah, she was in tons of shit. A career stretching 90 years. Yeah, I figure. Apparently she was big on the Dick Van Dyke Show. I wonder why that only lasted 3 episodes. So he says you watched all 3 episodes. I did when I was a kid. Like, when I was 8, I did. Again, I just tonight was able to track down the fucking name of this show. It was bugging the fuck out of me. I know. It's riveting content, folks. So, let's see. What can we do here, folks? Alright, so we can watch some more Scorched. It's not particularly good. It's not particularly bad. It's probably great for kids, though. We could watch the unaired Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures pilot. That might be fun. What else? Ron Lucas and Scorch. Maybe this wasn't a Jim Henson thing. Master ventriloquist Ron Lucas in his own TV series in the UK. So this Scorch, I guess, was a character he owned. Hang on. Go ahead. I would have... but his Scorched puppet is nowhere near as good as the...
Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Lucas.
I guess Ron Lucas does his own puppetry, but that's the Scorched puppet in the show looks like a Jim Henson thing.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Like I mean, it's the same character design, but this is a much shittier puppet.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, all you good people here in the studio and you folks at home.
Did I? Yeah, I just make sure. Let's see. John O'Hurley did the voiceover for a cartoon channel called Boomerang Channel, owned by Cartoon Network. Yeah, he did. He also there's a local channel, a local radio station. I shouldn't say local. I guess it's out of Philly, but I pick it up in some of my travels around here, called Ben FM, where its tagline is "We play whatever we feel like," which really they just play a lot of 80s and 90s music mostly. But he does like I've never once heard a DJ on Ben FM. They might have a morning show, but I never heard a DJ. It's all just like little ad bumps by that actor. Black Panther is dead. The actor, I mean, really? Is that like breaking news? Or is this some sort of fucking meme? Black Panther dead. Let's see. Holy fuck. Chad Boseman, Black Panther star, dies at 43. Well, what the fuck happened? Alright, let's take a look. Some breaking news. Let's see. Black Panther star Chad Boseman died at 43. His Twitter account reported he had been battling colon cancer. Well, I mean, literally the joke. I didn't even know he was sick. Boseman also appeared in Spike Lee's Defy Bloods, Get On Up, 42, and Draft Day. I'm not sure I've ever even heard of those fucking movies. It is an immeasurable gift that... I'm sorry. That's not what they said. It is with immeasurable grief that we confirm the passing of Chadwick Boseman. This statement read, It was the honor of his life to bring King T'Challa to life in Black Panther. Huh. Well, how about that? Further on the statement here. Chadwick was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2016. Man, they kept that quiet. And battled with it these last 4 years as it progressed to stage 4. A true fighter, Chadwick persevered through it all and brought to you many of the films you have come to love. So, from Marshall in Defy Bloods. All filmed during and between countless surgeries and chemotherapy. Well, damn. It was the honor of his career to bring King T'Challa to life in Black Panther. He died in his home with his wife and family by his side. Wow, damn. How about that? You got to admire that work ethic, man. You know, he's out there making all these movies. Just fucking doing all that shit when he's got one foot in the grave. You got to admire that kind of work ethic, man. You know, a lot of the spoiled fucks in Hollywood, you know, they'll take a day off if they got a hangnail. Let's see. Yeah, that's, I mean, the MCU movie series is basically done. They'll still do some stuff and all, but let's be real, you know. Most people, I mean, Endgame is as good of a jumping off point as you're ever going to get. I'm somewhat interested in Doctor Strange too, just because It's got like a multiverse theme, which I'm a sucker for. It also sounds like it's going to have Shuma Gorath in it. A bit of a fan favorite character of mine. But the rest of the projects, I mean, I might check them out, but I'm not exactly like, oh, I got to check them out. Didn't mean to bring this stream down. I mean, we were just bullshitting about forgotten TV shows. I don't know that we had any real direction. Yeah, that's a shame. I mean, again, you know, I know it's Hollywood, and he's probably a shithead. They're all shitheads. The vast majority of them. But you got to admire that kind of work ethic, man. You got to admire somebody who just, you know, loves his job, loves his craft. And he's like, nah, man, like, oh, you should be, you know, recovering. You're sick. It's like, nah, man, I want to be a superhero on a big screen. It'd be fun. You got to admire that. Let's see. So he says, sadly, they're also using Strange 2 to bring in America Chavez. Oh, that's rough. That is a dumpster fire of a character. So he says, he did a lot and seemed humble, despite on talk shows while promoting Black Panther. He was playing up the We Was Kang's angle, probably to fit in, even if he didn't believe that crap. You know, Black Panther had one of the most obnoxious fucking marketing campaigns around it, to the point where I, despite being a huge Marvel fan, a huge Avengers fan even, was like, I don't even want to fucking see it. And you know what? Having finally watched it, I think I missed like the first couple of minutes. I went to go hang out with a buddy the one time when he had it like on, he was just had streaming shit on in the background, and it had started. I think we were like 10 minutes into it or something. Like, we were not far into it at all. And I just kind of sat, I was like, I ain't seen this yet. And I sat down and watched it. And you know what? It's fine. It is as unremarkable a superhero movie as you could possibly get. It's weird because Black Panther, you know, among other superheroes, is kind of a unique character. He's a king. You know, obviously you got the We Was Kang's angle to it. You know, the traditional African country, but also with the high technology. There's a lot of interesting and unique aspects to that character as opposed to other superhero movies. That said, though, this just felt like a paint-by-numbers superhero movie. It almost felt like the kind of generic superhero movie storylines you got, like, even pre-MCU stuff, you know, when you... like, late 90s, early 2000s kind of superhero movie, you know? Just with better production values being in the MCU. So, yeah, like I said, it's fine. The only one of the bunch I didn't see, I think, at this point is Captain Marvel, and I really have no interest in that. Because, see, like, I don't hate Black Panther as a character. I've never particularly given much of a shit about him, but I don't dislike the character. I flat out dislike the Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel shit. I liked that character before they took her in that direction. Back when she was Miss Marvel and she had that lovable fuck-up thing about her, I loved that character. That was one of my favorite characters. But ever since they made her Captain Mary Sue Marvel, she's been one of the shittiest characters. Somebody says, probably was building a nest egg for his family if he worked through that. Well, I'm sure, you know, I mean, hell, if he got any kind of, like, royalties or shit for that movie, you know, you never know what those actors get in their contract and all. Like, that'll, I mean, that movie's going to be continuing to rake in money for a very long time. But yeah, it's not very good. Like, everybody that was, you know, oh, it's 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like, this is not the best movie ever made it's not the best superhero movie ever made by a long shot. Like, you're telling me that movie's better than Iron Man? Better than the first Avengers? Better than Wonder Woman? Fuck no. Well, speaking of DC, they're farting out another fucking Suicide Squad. Oh, Lord, why? I know they're doing a Suicide Squad video game right now that I saw some trailers out for, and it actually looks better than any of the movies. Somebody said 2017 was the final year for Marvel. 2018 had barely watchable Deadpool 2 and Venom. I like Deadpool 2. I mean, it certainly wasn't as good as the first one, but it was alright. It was funny. Like, I enjoyed it. Venom wasn't even as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, it's Venom does a lot of things right. It gets a lot right about the character. It gets into some fucking deep lore Venom shit, like with the Life Foundation and shit. Stuff I never expected to see on the big screen. That said, though, it just gets so much core shit fundamentally wrong that it's just hard to like. But if I take it as some sort of goofy Elseworlds Venom tale, like alternate universe Elseworlds-like tale, like one of those goofy DC Elseworlds where Batman is a pirate, or where, whatever, like, it's an okay movie. Like I said, I watched it on a streaming service, and I was like, eh. I mean, I'm glad I didn't go see it in the theater, but I've certainly seen fucking worse movies. I've certainly seen worse fucking superhero movies. I would rather watch Venom again than watch Suicide Squad. I would rather watch Venom again than watch fucking Justice League, to be honest with you. And I didn't even particularly like Venom. It just sort of was. Somebody says, is Blade 2 really awful? Love the first one. Third one was ass. I like the third one. I love the first Blade. First Blade is still one of the best superhero movies ever made. Best comic book movies ever made. I really never liked the second one. A lot of people seem to really like it. I think it's shit. The third one, it's kind of goofy. Yeah, it's got Ryan Reynolds in there chewing the scenery, playing Hannibal King in name only. But it's fine. It's fine. It's funny. My dad never watched Blade 1, but he went to the movies with me and a buddy when we saw Blade 2. And I didn't like it even at the time. And my dad was like, this is stupid. So he never would watch Blade 1. And then he went, again, tagged along with some buddies when we saw Blade 3, and he liked it. And then he watched Blade 1, and he was like, this is really good. I should have watched this a while ago. Somebody says, I remember Movie Bob reviewing Black Panther as one of the most groundbreaking, greatest films ever made, 11 out of 10. It's so weird how everyone went, like, full retard on that. Like, it was just a paint-by-number superhero movie. It wasn't even the first black superhero movie. Again, Blade had 3 theatrical movies before then. Spawn had a theatrical movie. Steel had a theatrical movie, albeit that was absolute dog shit, virtually indefensible. Point is, it existed. And then there was even original shit like Meteor Man or Blank Man. Meteor Man was a fucking black superhero movie, original property, with a virtually all-black cast of basically every big black name in Hollywood at the time. And they wanted to act like Black Panther was groundbreaking? What's the first black superhero movie in this particular series of superhero movies? Like, you're just fucking scraping for... What was it? What was it? Medicare said this years ago, where he goes, these fuckers, they're just so desperate to try to... They want to be civil rights leaders so bad. They want to imagine that they're out there fighting for some cause and getting a fire hose sprayed on them or something. Like... Jessica Biel's always nice. Yeah, she's a looker. Black Panther was always a minor character. Yeah, but you got to give it to him. I mean, that is Marvel's first theatrical success. Not only was Blade a black superhero movie, but it was the second theatrical Marvel movie ever made after Howard the Duck. And it was the first one that was a critical and commercial success. Like that came out before fucking. A lot of people forget that came out before fucking X-Men. A good like 2 to 3 years. I can't remember if Blade was 97 or 98 off the top of my head. First Blade was awesome. Wesley Snipes can only do so much with what he's given. Blade 1 is fucking fantastic. I would probably put that in the... I think that maybe even in the top 10 of superhero movies, which these days is quite an achievement because there's like a fucking billion of those things. Have you ever been to a horror movie where the majority of the audience is black? I really have not been to black theaters before. I mean, I know the stereotype, but I can't think any times when I've been in a movie theater and it's been a primarily black audience. Yeah, I don't know why everyone lost their fucking shit over Blade or over Black Panther. So he says, are you confusing Blade and Black Panther? I think I just misread your comment. I see now you were talking about Black Panther, not Blade. I just misread it. To be honest, I never heard of Black Panther outside of Black Nationalist Political Party. Yeah, I think the character actually predates the political party, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he was never that major of a character. I mean, I'm a huge Avengers fan. He was never even a particularly major Avengers character. I mean, it's cool he got his own movie. That's fucking fine. But like acting like it's this huge fucking thing and going all spurty about it and Wakanda forever and all this dumb shit. He's not a particularly important character. And he's honestly far more interesting as in his role of being the king of this fictional nation than he is as a superhero. He's not visually interesting as a superhero. He's not that particularly powerful. I mean, or memorable. You know, most interesting stories that involve him are stories that involve like fictional nations in the Marvel Universe having some sort of weird geopolitical thing. You know, like Doctor Doom has his own country and fucking Magneto had his own island nation for a while. How about Cloak and Dagger? Didn't they get a show? Wasn't there a Cloak and Dagger show? I think it even takes place in the MCU. Although, I'm not sure on that. But I think Cloak and Dagger had a show recently. I think they did. It's weird, too. No, I specifically remember they did because a bunch of people were complaining at the time, like on the right, about how it's like, look, it's a white chick and a black guy. And see, it's the Jews promoting interracial stuff. And I kind of had to be like, you guys know this comes from comic books, right? Like, you understand that, like, the reason she's, like, a really pale-skinned, blonde hair, blue-eyed chick, and he's a dark-skinned black guy, is because they have, like, shadow and light powers, respectively. And, you know, comic books love to be really visually on the nose about shit. But, I mean, I never watched the show, so I couldn't tell you. I mean, they were never characters I was hugely interested in. They were just sort of, you know, they were minor Spider-Man characters. Let's be real. You know, there were characters that showed up in Spider-Man once in a while. The only reason I know a significant amount about them is because they were just constantly showing up in Spider-Man comics for a while. I mean, to some extent, you know, you just oversaturate this shit. I mean, I'm a huge fucking fan of Cape shit, and I'm not even gonna watch all this crap. Like, you know. I mean, I have the fucking DC Universe app, and I don't even watch all the fucking shows that are on there. Like, I started watching Stargirl. It's okay, but I don't care about teen drama, like high school shit. Like, when they're doing superhero stuff, it's fine. Like, her and the dynamic between her stepdad, Owen Wilson, you know, where it's fine. But, like, when it's like, oh, now let's talk about who's going to be high school president. It's like, I don't care. Shut up. So I kind of fell out of that. I want to check out the new Swamp Thing show. Swamp Thing's another one of those sort of weird characters that had, you know, way more success outside of comics than more known superheroes. You know, he had a show, he had a cartoon, the cartoon I think only had a pilot, but he had a TV show, he had a bunch of fucking movies. But no, they did a season of a show on I guess just for this DC Universe app, but it got canceled before it ever even fucking came out because of some sort of budget nonsense. Like, basically somebody fucked up some budget shit or something. So he says, where do you rate the first Spider-Man movie? Pretty high. And I find it's aging pretty well. I like it. I like the Sam Raimi stuff. Even the third one's not that bad. I mean, it's got some rough spots, like Sandman being revealed to be like Uncle Ben's killer is fucking awful. It's the worst part of that movie, actually. But the actor playing Sandman's great. It's great. You know, I mean, they botched up Venom, but that's because Sam Raimi kind of did that on purpose because he didn't want to do Venom. But of course you were going to do Venom in the third movie because back then they didn't plan 20 fucking movies ahead. You know, they didn't plan for a 20 movie fucking franchise back then. Back then they were happy to get every sequel they got. So back then, you know, you do Spider-Man movies. Okay, well, the first one, you do the first biggest fucking villain. The greatest Spider-Man villain, the most important Spider-Man villain is the Green Goblin. Well, who's the second most important Spider-Man villain? It's fucking Doc Ock. Well, who's the third? Venom. That's a pretty clear fucking order there. So, of course, that's the order they were going to go. The Swamp Thing cartoon had 13 episodes. Did it? I thought they only did the pilot. I've only ever seen the pilot. So he says you can watch dinosaurs. Oh, we might. I don't know. Maybe we'll fire it up. Raimi loved the 60s Spider-Man villains, which is why he wanted to do the Vulture. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a great villain. Spider-Man doesn't have many terrible villains. But, yeah, like, I'm sorry to tell you, Raimi, they're obviously going to want to do the three biggest villains in the three first movies. It's just, you know, that's how superhero movies worked back then, you know? So he says they extended the mask ordinance, whatever. I'm not all that. I don't care about the mask shit. Like, at least where I'm at, most people don't really follow it that well, and I'm not that bothered having to put on a mask going into a store. Like, if I had to do it at my job all day, I'd fucking go nuts. But whatever. At least I can go to a store. But yeah, Raimi kind of purposely butt-fucked Venom. Like, honestly, even the black costume. Like, how do you butcher the black costume? Like, Spider-Man's black costume is one of the most fucking, just simple and iconic costumes. Would have looked amazing on the big screen. But no, it's just like, oh, it's just a black monochrome version of his regular costume. That's fucking stupid. Raimi fought against Venom, but the producer wouldn't budge. Again, that's how superhero movies were at the time. Like, there's, they approached each movie one at a time. They did Spider-Man with no guarantee they were ever going to do Spider-Man 2. I think they signed a bunch of those actors on for multi-movie deals, but there was no guarantee we were ever going to do Spider-Man 2. Did Spider-Man 2. No guarantee we're ever doing a third one. Spider-Man 3, no guarantee we're ever doing a fourth one. And they didn't do a fourth one. So, sorry. We that's how they were at the time. We're going to do the biggest villains in the order of how big they are. Somebody says, yeah, that third Spider-Man with the dork from 70s show playing Venom. I don't know. I've never really thought Venom absolutely needs to be bigger than Spider-Man. I mean, he usually is depicted that way, but, like, the size difference didn't bother me. And he was quite the little peckerhead as Eddie Brock. I mean, the biggest things that bother me with Venom, I don't like how the black costume looks when it's on Spider-Man. Again, that's terrible. And while Venom looks fine, they keep fucking, like, pulling the symbiote away from him to show his face. That's a real problem the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies had. And I don't even think that's Sam Raimi's fault. I think that was the studios and all. But Spider-Man keeps taking his fucking mask off all the time. Everybody's taking, like, the Green Goblin's taking his fucking mask off all the time. Venom's, like, taking the symbiote off his face all the fucking time. And, because at the time they were like, oh, well, audience isn't going to understand if they can't see their face and see what they're feeling. It's fucking dumb. Somebody says, I don't like it when a movie isn't its own thing, just building up to a bigger fight. Here's the thing. A lot of these superhero things, it would honestly be better if they did more shows and less movies. Because these are based on things that have been, storylines that went on for a while and built up and built upon themselves and that sort of thing. So even with like something like the MCU where it goes on for like 20 butt fucking movies in all different directions, there's still tons of shit you're never going to be able to do. So like if it were up to me and it were like, if Disney were like, Bechtloff, what should we do with the Marvel stuff? I'd be like, just cut it out with the movies. I mean, hell, fucking this fake bullshit virus fucking killed the damn theaters anyways. Cut it out with the movies, all right? Make shows. Let this particular incarnation of it fucking die. Let it rest. Let it sit for a couple of years so that it can become fresh again in people's minds. And then you come out with 4 really well-made shows. Put them on your fucking Disney Plus or whatever you're doing at the time. You do an Avengers show, Fantastic Four, a Spider-Man, and an X-Men show. All standalone, but also interconnected, like Flash and Arrow were. That's how you do it. Maybe you do a 5th one, call it like Marvel Knights, and sort of an anthology thing. You do like darker characters, supernatural characters, some Punisher and Daredevil and Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider and Blade and all that kind of shit. That's fine. But do the 4 pillars of the Marvel Universe, as it were. So it says Thor and Captain America weren't even their own first movies. They were just building up to... Well, no, that's fair about Thor. Thor is definitely an Avengers prequel. Captain America is its own standalone film. Captain America, the first Captain... I know it's called The First Avenger, but it stands alone as its own movie. It very much stands alone as its own movie. Damn near as well as Iron Man. Somebody says, you think the consoles will be released in December? I don't know. I know Sony and Xbox or Sony and Microsoft we're going to do something in December. I don't know. I don't have any interest in either one of them. My interest in modern gaming just fades by the fucking day. Like, Nintendo's the only thing keeping that alive for me. The only thing I know of I have any interest in playing on the PS4 is the Spider-Man game. There's probably some other stuff that might entertain me I don't know about. There's a few PS3 games I wouldn't mind trying at some point. I can't think of anything that's on Xbox I give a shit about. You know, I kind of have I kind of had an interest in the PS5 when they were talking about it might be backwards compatible with the previous 4, because that's just cool as fuck. That would be worth the money. But it's sounding now like they ain't gonna do that, so okay. The hell with it then. Every time I see a commercial for Stadia too, like Google's still pushing fucking Stadia. I still see fucking ads for that shit. And I'm like, Google, I'm gonna be real with you here. I will just stop playing video games before I get fucking Stadia. Okay? We are far too accepting of games. We're far too accepting of all this streaming shit as it is. Okay? You know, movies and games and shows and books as a service and not as a product. We are far too fucking accepting of that. I like my streaming services. They are very convenient, and they're certainly better than cable basically ever was. But it ain't the same as physical media. It ain't as good as physical media. And Stadia, or, you know, stream your fucking games. Unless you have the top of the line fucking internet, which isn't you can't even have in most places of the country right now. Stadia is fucking garbage. And again, just the nature of the service, I want no part of. So he says there's the claim to be able to play all the Xbox games on the new console via streaming. Okay. But I can't play my actual games that I own. Now, and see, they love to fight. That's the other thing. They, especially now with all this drive to just erase fucking history. You know, like on a streaming service, they recently took off an episode of the Golden Girls because it was offensive. I think one of the characters wore blackface. How milquetoast and fucking thin-skinned do you have to be to find the Golden Girls offensive? That show that your grandma used to like. If you're my age, the Golden Girls is the thing your grandmother watched, or maybe your mother watched, or something. Okay? It's not exactly a fucking edgy show. But again, you know, if you wanted to get into it now, you're missing an episode, and who knows what the fuck else they change. Just quietly when you're not looking. Because you don't have any physical media. Yeah, I will not touch fucking Stadia. Nah, fuck that. I'll just not play video games anymore. I'll just there's enough fucking games on the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo that I've never played, never had time to play, that I could fucking dig up and play if I feel like playing a game. I don't need modern gaming. People talking about how they changed the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. I gotta admit, I kind of like that twist with the Mandarin. I did not see it coming at all, and yet it's also telegraphed constantly. When you watch the movie a second time, that twist is telegraphed constantly throughout it. And I like Ben Kingsley's performance in that movie. But then again, I never had much attachment to the Mandarin as a character. I mean, I'm an Avengers fan, but that's just not a character I was ever big on. And tell you what, and I've been rewatching it on Disney Plus. There's been a few Avengers cartoons over the years. There was Avengers back in 1999, which is garbage. It's damn good. It's one of the best superhero cartoons out there. It's only a few notches below like the Bruce Timm, like Justice League and Superman shows. So he says there's plans for Doctor Strange too. Oh yeah, it's in the multiverse of madness. Again, I said earlier, Suma Gorath is the villain and multiverse stuff, so sign me up. I'm a sucker for both those things. Let's see. I love Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Yeah, it's one of the best superhero shows ever. And it's a shame it got canceled early so Disney could oh, pardon me. So Disney could fart out the far more mediocre Avengers Assemble. Avengers Assemble isn't even bad. It's just mediocre. Yes, chat, we already talked about the Black Panther star dying. And I already talked about Black Panther, too. I did finally see it. It's okay. It's one of the most run-of-the-mill superhero movies I've ever seen in my life. It's fine. It's just fine. It is almost remarkably mediocre. It's not good, it's not bad. It just sort of is. I've been watching some Batman too, like the '90s Batman cartoon. Great stuff, man. I mean, I was watching season 4 when they switched to the different art style. It was right around the time they started the Superman thing. It's a bit of a controversial season. Like, some people say it's not as good, some people say it's better, whatever. That said, though, the episode "Old Wounds," where they show how Dick Grayson quit as Robin and became Nightwing, all that is one of the best episodes of the season. Let's see. Looking at the chat here. Oh, how long have we been going on? A little over an hour. Oh, might wrap this up. Man, no donations tonight. Y'all pay piggies letting me down. Just hoping we get some donations. I fucking need it right now. Out of work for 2 fucking weeks. Might just wrap things up. Alright, folks. If you enjoy the content I put out, do consider supporting the show. PayPal.me/theBechtloff. And Streamlabs.com/theBechtloff. You can send a super chat when I'm not live, and I will see it when I am live. Somebody says the one where Scarecrow kills Batgirl and Gordon finds out. Yeah, that episode's really good. It turns out it's all like a fear hallucination of Batgirl. But really, 4th season doesn't get enough credit. There were some really powerful episodes of that. The one with the girl that was part of Clayface, and that Robin sort of ended up with a crush on. Again, Good stuff, man. I gotta say, I'm liking the DC Universe app. You know, I enjoy Doom Patrol, and I can't dispute the fact that the Doom Patrol show is fucking paused. There's a lot of fucking annoying pro-gay shit in it, but it's based on a lot of fucking 80s and 90s stories where that shit was still kind of edgy and avant-garde. And I don't know, I just have a soft spot for that weird, goofy, largely British fucking high concept, I don't know, avant-garde sci-fi fantasy shit that they do in that show. And Brendan Fraser's Robot Man just makes that show. So, I don't know, I enjoy it, but I would be, I would have a hard time recommending it to a lot of my audience, because I know the pause shit would probably annoy y'all too much. Somebody says Streamlabs is still a pain. I'm going to tell you, Susan demonetized me. Although I guess I can reapply, but I probably won't get it. Plus, if I'm being honest with you, Streamlabs is so much better for content creators. Like, you just get that shit right away. Like, I have like $60 sitting in my fucking YouTube account, my AdSense account, that I may never see. That I may never be able to get. Because, you know, it's got to be over $100 to cash out. And, you know, I may or may not get my monetization back. So, you know, I know Streamlabs is a pain, but, you know, it's a couple extra clicks, and it's way fucking more, it's way fucking better. And you know the other cool thing about Streamlabs, and I enjoy this a lot when I send to people, you don't have to use your fucking name. And I mean, even your handle. Like, you know, here in the chat, media hits. You don't have to send a Streamlabs donation as media hits. You know, you could, like, if for example, Lindsay Ellis was accepting Streamlabs donations, which I don't think she is, because I think she's just getting Soros money. But just as an example, you could donate and make your username be, you know, your aborted son. Just throwing that out there, you know, so you can have some fun with that. You know, it's a chance to fuck with your favorite creators without them exactly knowing it's you. So just throwing that, and it is better for you, for the people you're sending to. Again, you know, you're not giving 30% to YouTube. And, you know, again, like I said, I got $60 in my AdSense account. I will quite possibly never see. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Got some other stuff I got to do tonight. And that's about it for tonight. I want to